Man on the Moon is a really interesting film. Jim Carrey's performance is absolutely incredible. I got emotional on a couple of occasions. The cast is fantastic. This is quite an experience. This was released in 1999. It's directed by Milos Forman, written by Scott Alexander and Larry Karaszewski, and we have a cast including, of course, Jim Carrey. We have Danny DeVito. We have most of the cast of Taxi, including Marilu Henner, Judd Hirsch, Christopher Lloyd, Carol Kane, and Jeff Conaway. And this is, for me, an interesting experience. And I think depending on your perspective, it could be very different. This is a biographical film of Andy Kaufman's life and career. And I wanted to watch this because I'm quite a Taxi fan. I'm still watching it. I haven't seen the show in its entirety, but I'm making really good progress with it. I really love the show. However, I don't like Latka. I don't hate Latka, but I don't find Kaufman's foreign man character, as his character is called, to be funny. I don't find that to be amusing. Comedy is subjective. It just doesn't work for me. But I knew nothing else about Kaufman's career, comedy style, anything at all like that. So yes, I wanted to watch this because I love Carol Kane, Marilu Henner, Danny DeVito, but I also wanted to learn about Kaufman. And I saw a clip for this, and it was a clip of Jim Carrey as Andy Kaufman. He was doing the foreign man impression, and it was just so eerie. It was like watching Latka. Of course, that is my experience of this comedy, of this character rather, and that is sustained throughout the entire film. Jim Carrey's performance is absolutely incredible. Now, if I were a huge Andy Kaufman fan and I'd seen a lot of his work and I had a very, very strong image of him outside of Latka, maybe I would feel differently, but certainly to me, Jim Carrey gave an eerily accurate performance. With regards to the specifics of the narrative, I cannot vouch for the accuracy because I'm by no means an expert on Kaufman. As I said, I watched this because I wanted that education, not because I had that knowledge and wanted to see how it was represented. So for me, it was all about learning about the beginnings of his career, his relationship with his agent, George Shapiro, who is played by Danny DeVito. Interestingly, DeVito plays Shapiro, but Shapiro also plays a character called Mr. Besserman in this film. And then, of course, we have the cast of Taxi playing themselves, because obviously as we're watching Kaufman's career, we see him filming taxi scenes. So we have the cast there, but Danny DeVito's not there. He's there as the agent, but he doesn't play Louis in the taxi scenes. It's quite a bizarre experience, but very, very effective. If you like films about Hollywood, even if you'd never heard of Andy Kaufman, I'd say maybe it's still worth watching. Obviously, it's going to be more appealing if you're at least a little aware of Kaufman and want to learn about his career. But if you just want to watch a film about a comedy actor in Hollywood and what his life was like, then I'd still recommend it. If there's anything in this that is inaccurate or maybe exaggerated for the benefit of the film, please feel free to let me know. I did take everything with a pinch of salt, but I still feel like I got a really solid education. I feel like I got to know Kaufman more as an individual and what he achieved in what was honestly a very short space of time. I won't say any more than that, but it was, there were emotional aspects to it as well. Interesting story. I think there's a lot going on. I think it's well presented, whether or not it's completely factually accurate. Again, took it with a pinch of salt, but certainly as a narrative, as a story, it's quite engaging. There's a lot of variety. Obviously, we have Jim Carrey giving this absolutely just incredible, incredible performance. As I said, when I first saw the clip of this, I knew I was going to watch it because, well, Carol Kane, Marilu Henner, Danny DeVito, it was inevitable. But I saw a clip before I actually sat down to watch it, and I was a little creeped out with how effective it was. Very, very great performance from Jim Carrey. And if you're aware of Andy Kaufman, then needless to say, I'd say this is absolutely worth watching. If you are a big Kaufman fan, you might have a very different opinion. You may really love it. You may think it's not that great, and I'd be very keen to know what you think. But from my perspective, I enjoyed it. It absolutely delivered with what I was looking for. The taxi scenes gave me goosebumps, and ultimately I came away from it feeling like it was a really solid film. As I said, you don't need to have heard of Kaufman to be able to follow it, to be able to enjoy it, but obviously it's going to be, in my opinion, a bit more of an interesting experience if you're aware of Kaufman. And also, if you've never seen Taxi, thoroughly recommend that. As I said, I haven't seen it completely. I'm still working my way through it, but it's brilliant. Just everything James Burrows touches is just always turning to gold. Obviously, I recommend the show, and of course, I'm very, very happy to recommend Man on the Moon.